Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is sensorality? What is a sensor? How is censorship naturally defined? So first, again, a quick shout out to the entire mathematical community. Again, we've named another 4-year cycle of the Fields medalists with, again, promising mathematicians showing promise or good work under the age of 40. It's intellectual property, complete derivation and demonstration of analysis, continuing violation of the law has made your entire edifice what is academia, what mathematicians call as the International Mathematics Union or whatever you guys call yourselves, is completely fraudulent. And so my estate will take literally everything. I am the only mathematician. Because of how comprehensive my work is, I actually literally own mathematics. There's only so many finite fundamental statements, sentences you can say about rhythm, vibration, power, energy, work. And seeing as the entire species and the entire culture has never used those words properly, the demonstrations of these theorems is unique. And so there's no other way to learn fundamental science. And again, it's the fundamental associations of your personal realizations. Because again, realization is not unique. I eat food, you eat food. That is not a unique realization. I try to go to sleep and I can't because of the crime. You sleep because you guys are criminals and just so prolific in your crime you guys couldn't care. Again, obviously I still can't speak as an adult to a bunch of little children, and you guys are all criminals hiding behind screens. But you guys are in violation of the law. Again, these prizes are a hilarious joke and have been so for years. But the destruction to my family and to my property is not a joke. And so if I ever have if the law ever makes sense, if all of these people that stand up for the United States Constitution ever realize that they're just raging hypocrites and they have no values and they're cowards and they're little bitches, if the law ever makes sense, if people ever stop following false authority, literally every law will be enforced and every punishment will be proportional to the detriment you have caused to this society. And so enjoy your fraud, enjoy your racketeering, enjoy your conspiracy. You are not mathematicians, you are not scientists, you are not physicists, you are not computer scientists, you are just criminals and you are just terrible people. So be pathetic, be insecure, be completely incapable of making good decisions, keep being sheep, and just know you continue to throw away people's careers. And again, any fraudulent property produced by these, again, fraudulent careers will be seized and will be forfeited as well. And so, again, that goes to anybody a part of the academic entire structure. Again, anybody older than the age of 12, again, you will be prosecuted. With that being said, we continue on with our derivation. We are coming to, again, a complete reduction of linguistics. What is a sensor? And so is my microwave a sensor? Is my refrigerator an air conditioner? Right? Just these different simple functionality machines. And we put words on them. Why is my refrigerator not an air conditioner? Right? You get what I'm saying, but there is some definitiveness, there is some unique sequencing of syllability that is definite, that is well-defined, that is undeniable. For example, fluency is influential, fluent is fluent, it is what it is the structure, and truly kind of is the biggest logical result we're demonstrating, right? It's optimal. It is the minimum amount of syllability. It is quintessential, 5 syllables, to completely map this fundamental stability of 2. And what people say in physics is we live in 3 dimensions. And so just working up until, again, we have this definitive linguistic structure, a total differential from which we can derive the definition of a sensor. Our domain or range, and again, the functional relationship of domain, base, basis, range is still some sort of unresolved differentiation. Light, L-I-G-H-T, light, L-I-T-E, right, R-I-G-H-T, right, R-I-T-E is still, again, some unresolved conceptualization, but it's all just, again, this inconsistency we've presented with linguistics that we're kind of working through. The physical conceptualization is already completely known, completely solved. So we're not really, there's no point to focus on it. Again, it's already solved. And so it's hard to present my information sometimes or my research because, again, how profound the crime is. Because, again, my natural capacity is just a raw capacity, and I've been scapegoated from a species where I've never been able to form personal identity. And so I've been T-worded more prolifically and brutally than people can truly understand. And so, it just really messes with me again when you watch your entire family and your entire life just be taken from you. And so, again, I can't emphasize enough, the academic community is not one. You guys are just fucking criminals. But again, this domain range basis is just what I'm still thinking is this conceptualization of functionality, just what you would say, what is a function in math class. Last time we kind of said, again, what is the chronology? Or do you take a derivative from a function? Does that make sense? What is the functionality of differentiation? But again, what's the right word to use? Is emotion the range of motion? Is emotion the domain of motion? Again, just pointing out some of these words. Anything we've discussed or derived or conceptualized throughout this derivation that is unresolved is just, again, something we have to work through, and its logic and conceptualization presented by the linguistic, the word progress. And so anything that needs resolved will be resolved, and we will start with a restatement of the fundamental theorem of physics. Vibration is the confinement of motion. Literally, you take anything, you try to limit its motion. The natural world that you're born into is everything is around other things. So all magnets induce, all moving charge induces magnetic fields, and then we just have pressure. And so when you try to limit motion, you get a vibration. And so, emphasizing the introduction of the word confinement. Vibration is the confinement of motion. Again, from rhythm to algorithm, we've stated vibration is the inverse of motion. You form a rhythm, you minimize steps to maximize the efficiency of motion, to move most effectively. And if you try to limit motion, then you get a vibration. Take up your cell phone, you put it on vibrate. If it vibrates strong enough, it will begin to move. And so vibration is the confinement of motion. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality realizes potential, direct iteration. Is vibration movement potential? Right, so then we have these kind of, again, this overarching relationship of energy, movement potential, and vibration. PV equals nRT. Vibration literally is temperature. The geometry, the physical things, the physical boundaries, that produces pressure, more temperature, more vibration, more pressure. And so, is vibration movement potential? Fundamental theorem of emotion, sensorality is vibrant energy. Natural definition, direct iteration. So again, if somebody comes up to you and just says, hey man, you give off good vibes, you have good energy. How does that conceptualization, something that's clear in slang or clear in just consensus usage, does that make sense with our fundamental, rigorous physical definitions that we've derived from everything is connected, but nothing is touching, literally? And so, right, if you have good vibes, this confinement of motion, right, you have this, again, you're radiating energy, right? You have this movement potential. It's this elicitation or this acknowledgement that vibration is this confinement of motion, right? If you have good vibes, if you're giving off good energy, you have good movement potential, and that doesn't have the best conceptualization, but it's an acknowledgement of vibration is movement potential. Things that are vibrating, it's that confinement of why it's not moving. And so that's what I'm trying to emphasize there, is vibration movement potential, this overall relationship of energy, movement potential, and vibration, this limitation, this confinement of motion itself, this cycle that does not do work, this not movement, right? Not movement, our most fundamental comprehensive physical definition. Not movement is not inconsistent logically to say movement potential, right? Because if it is moving, it doesn't have movement potential, it's movement. And so vibration, not movement, vibration, movement potential. And so emphasizing again the confinement. Fundamental theorem of emotion, sensorality is vibrant energy. Rhythm maximizes energy, rhythm maximizes movement potential. Direct iteration. Again, the conceptualization throughout history, what every physicist has been trying to say, whether they realize it or not, is this object moving? The answer is yes. The discrete independent mass-gapped particles that are bonded, that make up this notebook, they are in motion, that is mass times velocity. E equals mc squared is a statement of momentum. And so rhythm maximizes momentum. Rhythm maximizes energy, movement potential. Where does our movement come from? Where does our implication of movement potential come from? Again, the movement itself. And so rhythm maximizes energy because it preserves dynamic, right? When you're walking and you're minimizing steps, right, you are preserving your movement potential because you're not expending energy inefficiently. Rhythm maximizes energy, rhythm maximizes movement potential, rhythm minimizes tension. Tension limits energy. What is tension to entropy? Is entropy tense? Is disorder tense? What is tension to timing? What is tension to light? What is tension to radiation? Sensorality appreciates tension. Direct iteration, what is tension to sentience? What is sentencing to tensing? What is tensing to easing? What is tensing to testing? And so that was where we started off, again, this relationship of energy versus vibration. But this was at the end of a derivation. Again, I didn't upload yesterday. And then explicitly the next step, what is vibration to generosity? Because again, we were saying you're giving off a good energy completely in the emotional range or domain or whatever the appropriate word is for, right? Generosity contains the letters of energy iterated with the complete word so and it. It is what it is, our fundamental form. So another complete word, but generosity means good energy, good vibes. When people say you have good vibes or you have a good energy, they're acknowledging this physical confinement, that vibration is this limitation of motion, right? In this limitation of motion from this chronology, things are always moving. So if you confine motion, that is movement potential. When you crouch down, when you tense up, you're maximizing your movement potential. And so now we'll go back, and that was where we finished. And so we have again, big progress as always, just moving on, but that was at the end of this section of derivation. What is mechanics to mathematics? Is mathematics mechanical? Is theme mechanical? Is theme technical? Again, we have this linguistic comprehensivity. Mechanics is the total thing of fundamental physics, and then thermodynamics is how mechanics is articulated most comprehensively. Is theme mechanical? Is theme technical? What is theme to calculation? Is time thematic? Is time dense? Is density pensive? What is rhythm to censorship? What is censorship to sense? Does rhythm sense censorship? Again, censorship with a C contains censor with an S. Rhythm senses censorship. Rhythm censors censorship is our direct triple iteration of the word censor. And then connecting it to our overall logical structure from rhythm to algorithm. Because again, we have to expand, we have to stabilize a definition with this entire linguistic chronology that we've introduced because it's unique and it's correct. What is censorship to contradiction? Sensorality censors diction. Direct iteration, censors censor. Spellings are on your screen. Sensorality is the center of a censor. Sensorality is the center of censorship. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is the chronology of censorship. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is censorship to displacement? Sensorality is the chronology of conceptualization. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is contractualization to conceptualization? Is a concept a construct? Sensorality is constructibility. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality construes. Direct iteration, construe, continue. What is productivity to constructibility? Constructive is productive. Natural definition. What is countability to constructibility? Are demonstrations constructive? Sensorality senses rhythm. Sensorality senses algorithm. Sensorality senses exponentiation. Again, from rhythm, the minimization of steps, that's directly the immediate, empirical, visceral slang headspace you are in when you're trying to do something most efficiently, is minimizing steps. That's what forming a rhythm is. Operative word from that definition, minimization. To algorithm, direct iteration of logarithm. What is a logarithm? An exponent. From minimization to exponentiation. Sensorality sorts exponentiation. Direct iteration. What is exponentiation to experimentation? What is clarification to filtration? That was another big emphasis for clarification, the emphasis on that FI, and EFG, algorithm. This is all one big linguistic context we have to complete and fill out entirely again. Should be close, hopefully. Is an algorithm a filter? Is an algorithm a sensor? But again, there's no magical step. Each step is the same level of analysis. I've already demonstrated completeness. People just don't care that they've destroyed my entire life. To my estate, take literally everything. It's my property. Sensorality clarifies. Direct iteration. Sensorality is clarifiality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is fidelity clear? Is fidelity indelible? Sensorality filters fidelity. Direct iteration. Sensorality is indelibility. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is fidelity to liability? What is fidelity to consistency? Deity, fidelity. What is fidelity to liability? We just wrote that down. Yeah, we did. It was like the 2 lines ago. What is liability to triability? So now, again, we have this clear overarching, just generalized linguistic progression. Ality, the natural empirical sound you make, sequencing of syllability for generalization, anything ality. And then ability is another one. It's a complete word, but it's a direct iteration of ality with a bi literally, and this clear word forms and general forms of language where it's ility to ability to ality, just another generalized suffixing. But so we go from triality to triability. Right? What is liability to triability? Fundamental theorem of legality. Sensorality is triability. Again, now we have that trial iterated. So TRIAB is not a word, but you have this conceptualization of the ability to be tried. Triability is the ability to try. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is fit to stand trial. Sensorality is competent. Is a trial a competition? Sensorality is a try-hard. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is trial arduous? Sensorality is trying. Natural definition, direct iteration. Try, trial. Sensorality is try. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is irreducibility to liability? Sensorality reduces liability, direct iteration. Sensorality proliferates liability, direct iteration. Again, the logic, the syllability will pair uniquely. I don't say it doesn't matter. Again, we've emphasized this point a bunch, but how do we have sensorality reduces liability, sensorality proliferates liability? It's because sensorality is not a word. It's a chunk of syllability, and we have to get the conceptualization to where we can integrate, literally the word or the word form, to stabilize meaning, directly. That's what all of these direct iterations are. They're all unique steps, every single one. But that's why you have seeming, again, immediate logical contradiction. It's this thing and then it's the opposite of that thing. It's just a chunk of syllability, and we're showing this conceptual progression. What is proliferation to liability? All right, and so we go from reduces liability, proliferates liability, and then it's just proliferation to liability. It's just this overall syllability that's contained where these words have conceptualizations, they have meaning, but that's not the point right now. So we're showing this letter by letter, syllable by syllable iteration. Sensorality is proliferality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality filters proliferation. Direct iteration. Sensorality is a node. Natural definition, direct iteration, a node is a point. Are nodes spherical? Again, emphasizing sensodality contains sensorality by one syllable, ode. And now it's node, it's the base of N in E, or iterates N in E, node, and it's well defined. What is a node to a note? What is nodability to knowability? Again, knowability, K-N-O-W, ability, contains the word know ability, the ability to know, to have knowledge, the ability to deny, to say no, to reject, to censor. Sensorality is a node of information. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is information to intonation? What is a node to the internet? Sensorality is nodability. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is a node to a mode? Sensorality is a noble node. Natural definition, direct iteration. Directly producing this word, sensorality is nobility. Right? Well defined, obviously. Sensorality is nobilitality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Again, one of these expansion word forms doesn't provide any new conceptualization. Are nobles notable? Sensorality is notability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Note not. Notable is remarkable. Sensorality is remarkability. Natural definition, direct iteration. Remarkability is outstanding. Sensorality stands out. Stand plan. Sensorality is plain and simple. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is knowledge consistent? What is knowledge to language? What is language to power? Sensorality gauges power. Direct iteration. Factorization is filtration. Censorship censors sensorality. Direct iteration, again, our triple iteration of censor in a different order. Sensorality is censorship sense. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is a censorship censor. Natural definition, direct iteration. Once again, same triple censor iteration, different order. What is censorship to professorship? Direct iteration. Sensorality is professorshipality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is noticeable. Sensorality is noticeability. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is a letter to a notice? Sensorality is novice. Natural definition, direct iteration. Realization is physical. What is realization to resonance? Is realization rhythmic? Is resonance reasonable? Direct iteration. Is chaos catastrophic? What is a hyphen to an apostrophe? We've definitely hit that explicitly before, again, both representing contraction with a different syllable from our letters, right? But overall, this tending to optimality, this tending to optimal efficiency, right? You have to use the minimum, but you can't go past irreducibility physically. But again, you don't want to break things down too much. You have to optimize to be most efficient. You can't use too less than a minimum or less than a minimum. You get what I'm saying? Hyphens and apostrophes, symbols for contraction. Physically, you're bounded for contraction by actual physical things. But if you remove every letter from a word, you have no structure. You can't read a word. Entropy is catastrophic. Sensorality is catastrophicality. Sensorality is strophicality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is astronomicality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Astronomical is the opposite of economical. Those prices are astronomical. Astronomical, economical. Is economy nominal? Is parity nominal? Sensorality nominates, direct iteration. Sensorality is nominality. Is nominal normal? Direct iteration. Sensorality is denominality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is nomination to continuation? What is stability to velocity? Are they inverses? Are they opposites? Right? We have this empirical thing. It's like it kind of makes sense. Velocity, movement. Stability, not movement. Then that's immediately wrong if you ride a bicycle. Right? To stabilize, you move. And everything is moving. And so this maximum stability is some sort of dynamic of movement, not limitation of movement itself. Again, this confinement of motion. Right? That confinement happens not from a conscious choice, because of physical things existing. Right? A moving charge induces a magnetic field, and there's just a bunch of shit doing that. And so everything is in motion. What is stability to velocity? Moving on. What is velocity to tenacity? What is tenacity to voracity? Sensorality is voracious. Sensorality is voraciosity. Natural definition, direct iteration. Velocity is voracious. Is resistance trying? Is potential tempting? Is trying tempting? Is temptation empty? Direct iteration. Sensorality is the shape of chance. Natural definition, direct iteration. Form, farm. Shaping is forming. That was out of order. Shaping is forming came first. Doesn't matter. What is rhythm to novelty? Sensorality feels novel. Direct iteration. Novelty is new. Are antiques novel? Antique, unique. Sensorality is a novelty store. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is convenience novel? Novelty store, convenience store. Is novelty convenient? Is convenience novel? Again, we're reducing this form of logic to have this specific result. What is sensorality? And demonstrates the complete iteration of all language. We've already done it. Speciality special with an ITY. What is convincing to convenience? Sensorality inconveniences. Direct iteration. What is convenience to maintenance? Sensorality is convenient service. Direct iteration. Is convenient transient? What is energy to vibration? So this is where we started with. Again, energy, movement, potential, vibration, this limitation, this confinement of things trying to move. So is the confinement of things trying to move movement potential? Yes. So again, PV equals nRT. We already went through it. That's where we started. That's where we're at. Again, we're just tightening this up and again, reducing the syllability of this linguistic logical implication of what is a sensor. And again, the differentiation is already made at the species level. Again, we've said the difference between sentient filtration and inanimate filtration. We continue on. That seems to be the clear-cut structure. Again, this is a well-defined process of analysis. There's no conjecturing. There's no I think this. The overall physical conceptualization is well-defined, already proven and articulated, and known to an engineering level that is a profound and mythically beyond what is known publicly. I continue to beg for a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. I have no expectation that will ever happen in my lifetime. Again, I have no expectations these videos will ever be seen besides all of the people criminally stealing from me. And again, this overall inability to do the right thing is so dominating where it's like I've always had this sense of people can't do the right thing. It's not they don't want to, it's they can't. And it's this bounding of expected behavior from, again, following false authority, not some sort of religious thing. It's just people don't do the right shit. And they're just so pathetic, and Elmer Fudd, just can't behave and can't, walk with any discipline, or just, people don't know how to behave, man. All anybody knows how to compete over nothing, and it's just these shitty one-liner comments all of the time. And it's ruined my life. Again, the Fields Medal's obviously fraudulent. That's like 10 grand anyway. It's like, sweet, bro. But again, the overall mathematical community are heinous individuals as human beings. Obviously, your mathematics is worthless. You guys don't even know what mathematics is, right? And that's such a low level, just a statement of literality. Mathematics is thematics. You guys have never seen a proof in history. Speciality special with ITY. What we're doing with sensorality is just the same process with a different, unique iteration of syllability. So once you do it once, there's nothing to do again, and it's just this so limited physically. It's just huge progression. All of it's like 1 + 1 = 2. The conceptualization doesn't exist yet. It just has to show up. The difficulty for me doing mathematics is not dying, like genuinely, actually, literally. The realization process is inevitable. My fidelity to language is 100%. And so, and just people can't accept that. And that's what a math proof is 100%. And then you have, again, my whole life is just ruined. And we sit around with my parents and my brother, and it's just, you know, every comment's just like something about worrying about money. It's just, what is the purpose of life if you're the most competent scientist that's ever existed and people won't respect your science in a practical way to take care of their own health? You can't make any money to have your own family. If people destroy all your entire property, which is a profound amount of property, not just like 1 or 2 things. And then you can't even like help your family. You can't do anything. Life is a 0 out of 100. Just absolutely 0. So again, to the academic community, to the mathematical community, cannot dress you as adults because you're not adults. But it's like, again, you destroyed another man's life, destroy all of his property. Why do you guys get to have families and careers and I don't? And then, oh yeah, you guys are just so fucking pathetic and you're on the right team somehow and so nobody cares and everyone's still like bitter and jealous because Brad can actually do research. But you guys are too lazy to even do like the steps and the progress you can make in your own personal lives. You refuse to do them at all steps. Just watching a little bit of Andrew Huberman again, and everything's just like this corny joke of like, you know, I told myself I was going to be disciplined, and his whole podcast is like, we're going to talk about the deep science and break things down, and language is directly literal. You just have a bunch of fraud proliferated through biological science. Everyone doesn't know shit. Nobody knows what analysis is. Nobody's proven anything. And we have this overall accepted behavior of just crime. Genuine instinctual committing, fraud, racketeering, conspiracy, follow false authority, but they have no expectation otherwise, and there's no way to break that cycle. I've been directly articulating that since I've been a child, but I am trying to live my life. I've always been trying to live my life. There was no practical out when the entire government is actually doing this shit to you, and you have 0 support. You have negative support from family, and you have negative support from community. 0. You can't do anything. The only thing I've tried to do is, again, satisfy my basic biological needs to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. And the answer has still been no. So again, to the future, to history, the mathematical community specifically, but the overall academic structure is just fraudulent to a point where just I want them disgraced, I want them shamed, I want them prosecuted. I have no expectation I'll ever be able to, again, enforce the law because there are no laws. It's just this jurisdiction in the United States. It's just play games all day, compete over nothing, be on the right team, and just be a raging fucking hypocrite. And somehow that works for people. But to history, again, this is the physical dissemination of all logical structure in any meaningful time frames. There is nothing anybody can do to stop my impact to those people. Do not let anybody alive today be remembered for anything besides crime, besides profound detriment to our society, to profound... Just again, I can't speak to the severity of the legality that's occurred, and so, but the most prolific crime in human history, the most death and destruction that's ever been caused by conscious, willful choice to suppress the overall progress of scientific knowledge globally, and nobody cares. Like I can't emphasize enough. I have seen society at absolutely every level, and everybody is just clamoring over each other, and everybody is just pathetic, and the behavior and maturity is completely absent, and it's a true categorical failure of society. I say that with no emotion, it's just true. It is what it is, nobody knows how to behave, and then we scapegoated Brad for literally demonstrating actual scientific progress. Like actually. So it's kind of like you guys failed. If you're a doctor or you're a lawyer, and you interacted with me at any point in time, you just failed. I mean, like you failed in such an empirical, direct way. Obviously, nobody cares because it is. It's just people clamoring over each other. Lie, cheat, and steal to the mathematical community, to academia. You guys are done. Everything you've done is fraudulent. The entire American industry is fraudulent. You cannot pay me the legal liability that you owe me. I will settle for nothing besides true value of my property and all of the damages caused by not allowing me to build my proprietorship. Again, that's what if I was allowed to form a taxing thing, it would be a self-proprietorship because I wouldn't have overhead. I wouldn't go be building them. I don't want to create any jobs. I don't want to help any of these lazy fucking people. I just want my money and away from weird people. Again, and it's just like the answer to that is still no. Is absolutely insane. None of my property, none of my research is ever allowed to be used to benefit the United States of America in any way. Absolutely ever. That is what I have for today. You continue to ruin my life. My health is destroyed. My property is destroyed. My relationship with my parents' family is impossible because of the crimes being committed. and nobody cares. That is what I have for now. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.